Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-52439. You know. 205-964-52439. You know.
Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. Welcome to what is this? August 24th. Today is Wednesday. We have Kelly on Kelly Wednesdays here to share her insight from a little different perspective on the real estate broker / investor side of it, investor / real estate broker. We're here to talk about real estate investing with a strong emphasis on wholesaling real estate where your cash or credit is not a huge factor, one at all. Low risk, high reward opportunity. Today's topic, somewhat a bleed over from yesterday, like many of the topics are. Can you wholesale houses at auction? I think that's where I got it titled. Okay, and so if you want to get pushed to the front of the line, text the word Gator to the number 205-964-5243. We'll get you pushed to the front of the line. You can have your own personal training going on. You can ask multiple questions. Isn't that just grand? A couple other things. We have the I can't believe I ain't got that in the front. We have the I'll leave that alone.
Which one?
Oh, there we go. We have the free training tonight on finding deals using Privy. If you want to find more deals, wholesale virtually, learn how to talk to real estate agents, how to handle the earnest money deposit, the proof of funds. And then text the word Flippanar so you can register for that free training tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Text the word Flippanar to the number. See how it's spelled here, Flippanar, Flippinar. Boom, you're being business. Contract, the paperwork. I give it away free and instructions on how to use it. Text the word contract to the number 205-964-5243. And that'll get you going in the right direction on that to get access to it. Also, how to fill it out for sellers and cash buyers. Text the word contract to 205-964-5243. What's going on, Kelly?
It's Wednesday. It's hump day.
Oh, yeah.
It's hump day. It's going good, though. You know, it's I feel like I always talk about the weather, but I'm just it's interesting that it hasn't been a lot of sun in Alabama lately. But,
Feel like we're in Seattle somewhere.
I know. I'm like, we're starting to miss it a little bit. I'm like, what's happening?
It's true. Tired of it. So we got any questions, ladies?
Yeah. This one says, Kevin Figure, he's asking about if you got his message about the commercial property.
Man, that slipped me. I hadn't went through emails, which that's probably the worst way to contact me. So I am going to make a concern. I'm gonna try to look that up as we actually doing this right now.
And I was looking at your D later inbox. I don't see it, so I don't know which.
Yeah, he sent it to Ty. I think he did.
Okay.
Let me just search it right now. So go ahead. Go ahead. Next question.
Somebody else. Is that the same person about
Austin? One thing, Kevin, whenever you, and this to everyone, whenever you're going to, if you want to use an easy tool so you don't have to bog down your phone with all these videos, download the app Loom, Loom. It allows you to record in the app, and then you can easily share the link. Like I'm looking at your email right now. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm looking at, I guess, 10 plus videos. What I think these are all videos No, I'm sorry, them images, and you have just one. Matter of fact, you don't have a video. Always do video when you're out there doing something like this. It's best to do video versus photos, if all possible, just to look at it. So, but go ahead. Next question. I'll go through this in a second.
Done Will, I guess, asked about Austin deal as well. So why are you doing that? I'm not sure where they sent that deal though.
Yeah, that may have Kelly might get a hold of that one. It's in Austin, Texas. Or you just said Austin deal?
Yeah, they just said Austin.
More than likely. Okay, this is New Orleans.
Okay. This one isn't, I guess, quite a question, but if they wanted to know about HUD foreclosure.
The fan on your table there.
Okay.
You say HUD foreclosures? Well,
Yeah.
HUD properties. Well, Kelly probably know more about that. I know that process is, you definitely gonna have to have the right buyer for that, but you can go through that process. Kelly, if you're trying, I'm assuming they're speaking in terms of wholesaling. They say in hub, but they mean HUD.
HUD, yeah, in HUD. So one of the biggest things to remember about foreclosures that are HUDs are, you're going to have to be the end buyer. They won't in this. I'm pretty sure in most states. I don't like to say all because I don't know every state's regulations or laws, but in most states, you would have to be the end buyer, or you'll have to do a double close on it because none of the HUD contracts are assignable. So you would have to be the buyer, and you would have to show proof of funds. And there's going to be a lot of provisions that you would have to basically sign off on, just so you don't come back and try to sue the state or sue the government for it. But can you do it? Absolutely. The best thing about HUD foreclosures is really finding a really good REO agent. But remember, REO agents, they are extremely systematic in what they do. They're not looking to build rapport. They're not looking to build relationships, because it's so much paperwork that they have to do in order to just even put in an offer, that if you don't have everything that they're looking for, then they're not going to respond to you. So it's a very systematic way of doing it. So you want to make sure that you have someone, or you have the funds to before you proceed in it, because that's going to be the biggest thing that they're looking for. And sending in an offer that is less than what the bank wants is a long process. Don't expect like an answer to come back within a few hours. Like sometimes, like I know in Birmingham, sometimes like it can take up to 14 days to hear back. And it's not because of the REO agent, it's just because of the process, because of everything that the bank has to do and everybody that has to sign off on it. Like it's an extremely long process in a lot of situations. So I would say if you want to become an expert in it, really dial down into how it works in your particular area, because every market is going to be different. Even dial down to how it works with specific asset managers that own those particular HUD properties, because their process will all be the same. Versus if you're dealing with like a Wells Fargo and like another company or another bank owned property. So you want to make sure that you find one asset manager and find where all of their HUDs are, and then locate the markets that they are doing the most in, and then just specifically dial down into that so that you can understand, so you can create your own system of how to create offers, and you can build your pipeline that way.
All right, before we go to the next question, I got Kevin's deal pull up here. I want to actually just go through it because it looks like it's something that makes sense, just on the surface. And plus, just to give an example to other people on something similar to seeing or whatever. So, so let me see here. Okay, so as you can see here, I don't know what, I guess it used to be a grocery store according to what the zoning is for here. But it looks like a building that hadn't been used in a long time, and decent sized parking lot. I think the building itself is 58,000 square feet, which is good. The lot square footage is over 200,000, which means it's sitting on 5+ acres. That would work also. So yeah, I'll reach back out to you, Kev. This is idea. I ideally would like to probably be a little larger as far as the parking lot, but this would definitely work, with the building in here. But this building has been used in a long time. Just looking at that roof. Let me drop the look goldy down and just see what's going on here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that
It
well, it
looks
looks,
like a Parisian.
yeah, it looks better from the street like this though. But yeah, so that's ideal, and that's for everyone else that's going to send something over. This is ideal. So it's not a lot of times people will send over properties and they'll just have one vacant space that's maybe 56,000 square feet, but it's part of another shopping center. Being in a part of a shopping center is fine, but the entire shopping center ideally needs to be vacant. But this is more in line on in what makes it more interesting. Actually, talked to one of the flippers I've dealt with in over the years here today, and this was his exact quote: "Is that hey man, if you can find anything that's a big box with a large parking lot, I'm going to be interested." So within a 3 to 4 hour driving range. So we're in Birmingham, so that pretty much puts us in play in all the some of the larger cities in this southern region of the country: Nashville, Atlanta, of course. Um, I guess New Orleans maybe would be in play. All the ones in Alabama, of course, Memphis, Columbus, Georgia. I'm trying to think of everything that's sort of close. Maybe even Pensacola. Not saying don't send stuff out, but outside of those markets. But if you're in those markets, I know I got a particular investor in interest in outside of what we're looking for, also on a personal level. So just wanted to show this particular property here. I just did. I'm showing it. You can't see what I'm seeing. What
Yeah,
they
I
say.
know that, but it's still not clear. What are you
Big box, former Kmart's, former Walmart's. Um, they have large parking lots just naturally because of that much square footage. Just zoning requirements. You have to have X number of parking spaces. So those are normally sitting on anywhere to 5 to 10 acres, just by themselves or whatever. So, but that's. Just wanted to number one answer his question. Finally, I apologize for taking this long, but that's a good one. You definitely understand what we're looking for. So,
and where did they send it?
just text the number 205-964-5243.
All right. So this one says, hello, I have a question for a property that is about to be auctioned due to tax delinquency. Can you wholesale that property before it hits the auction? We've been getting a lot of questions about this.
Well, it got an auction in the title today, so
Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and go
it's
with
gonna
it.
go crazy today. So yeah, you got it, Kelly.
Yes, you can. You can. You would need to. There's going to be a process that you need to do. First, you would need to pay taxes on it. So whatever the tax, and again, and I can't speak across the board because literally every state has a different way of how they do tax delinquents and tax certificates, but and tax deed sales. But yes, you can. The big thing is you want to do is first you want to satisfy the lien on it. So you have to pay the taxes, but you have to be, if you pay it though, you would need to have the person that it is deeded to be with you, or either pay it, you give it to them and they pay it in their name, but they can quick deed it over to you. And so you would need to arrange that situation before you pay them any money, and draw up a contract basically stating everything that's going to happen, that you're paying for this property, and they're going to deed it over to you, and they'll satisfy the property tax. But the biggest thing on this is just, it's kind of like with foreclosure owners, like they need to be able to act fast. But with this particular situation, even after a tax lien or tax deed property or a tax delinquent property is sold in the auction, the owner can still redeem it. And every state is different. Like in Alabama, it's up to 3 years. So it depends on what your state is, but they can still go and redeem it. So you can still get tax delinquent properties that way as well from the owner by basically contacting them and paying their taxes for them. Now, I say this because I want to mention, like, you cannot technically pay anybody else's taxes, so you would have to be included as part of the purchase sales. Basically, whatever the cost is would have to be included in the purchase sale, and you make that arrangement through, and then they have to satisfy the liens before you close on it. Meaning they have to go and use that money. You could pay them some money up front. Maybe earnest money is enough to cover the tax lien. Go and use that. They have to go down there, use that money, pay the taxes, and then deed the property over to you. There's a lot of different ways. I'm not like, that's not my niche, but there's some people that really have honed into that process. That's their niche on it. I don't know, Ty, do you have any videos on? Your camera looks good today. Are you using a different camera?
You're going to be quite surprised when you show up tomorrow. So I ain't going to say
okay, I'm like, I see the difference. I see it. I see the difference for sure. Looks good. But do you have any videos about tax lien?
I'm pretty sure I do have something over the years. Nothing recent for sure. But it is a great, it could be a great lead source of potential motivated sellers. Just because there has to be something going on there. They hadn't paid the tax. Doesn't mean there's some motivation going on there, but something is going on. They hadn't paid the property taxes or whatever. So like you said, it just depends on the process in your state. Just track on down to the courthouse. Sometimes you may be able to find video, somebody explains it online for a particular state, but just track on down there. Hopefully you reach one of the nice individuals that you're paying their salary because they're government employees and it's coming from your taxes. Hopefully they're in a great mood and they'll be glad to explain to you how the entire process works. You know, you might have to come back another day until you get somebody that had a great previous night or morning or whatever. So, but yeah, that's the first thing. So once you understand the process, then you can understand possibly what your entry point is on how you can possibly turn that into an actual deal. Now, we're talking in the terms of wholesaling. You're trying to find someone that may be motivated to sell. They've allowed the taxes to get behind, and you have an opportunity to possibly get the property at a significant discount, including obviously whatever the taxes that are owed to it. Now, if you're trying to just do some tax lien or tax certificate or tax deed investing, that's a different conversation. That's really not what we're talking about. So just to be clear.
All right, this is on Instagram. This person said, my question is, in a competitive market like New York City with little money, what should I be looking for if most properties are in the millions?
You know, what you should be looking for. That is a tough one because if you're trying to just stay in the state, if you're trying to stay inside the city or that market, that's going to be tough. I would say you would probably need to do. So there's a lot of different ways to invest in real estate, and obviously JVing and finding deals for someone else that's heavily in the market is always one I'm going to go to. But also I know that there's a huge rental shortage there, and you can begin to be able to lease or find places that need leases, need some fixing up, and maybe the seller doesn't want to necessarily sell, but they will lease it at a cheaper rate if you will fix it up, and maybe you can fix it up and then rent it out again like a sublease. That is a way that you could probably get into that market if you have a little bit of money to spend. But other than that, I would say, look for other markets that fits inside of your budget of what you have to spend to just get going, and until you build up enough reserves and enough equity in your other properties to come back into the New York business. Or if you have some friends that want to invest, pool the money together and create an investor network where you guys are pooling your money together and buying properties together in New York.
Thank you for that, Ty.
So they're asking about New York City in general. Okay, so it's a different animal for a number of reasons, and I've said over the years I just want to go. I would just love to just go up there a month. If I could make a good connect with someone that's maybe an attorney / real estate agent broker that's actually in wholesale, I would love to just go up there and see how they get down, because I've talked to an actual flipper there that says he gets most of his deals from wholesalers, and he said it was rare he ever paid them below $25,000 as an assignment fee. So normally it's a lot more than that, but it's rare that he pays anything below that or whatever. So, but it's a different animal, but it's that animal that can be tamed like most, even if it comes down to cow.
What does that mean?
What is that?
Oh, a gun. You can take any animal down with one. That's my point I'm making.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Bad analogy, but whatever.
It was the sound. It wasn't the gun. It was the sound. We were expecting like a bang bang, you know.
Sometimes we be with you, but other times.
Yeah.
All right. This person, they want to know who you are, Kelly. So tell us something about you.
Who I am, I can't even say it wrong. Who I am, me is. My mom would love that. I am, I'm gonna take the crown of being Ty's very first real estate student because he said it one time. I don't know if he actually can verify it, but I'm gonna say
not verifiable.
It was not verifiable, but I'm gonna take the crown of being his first paid. Look, because we put that on it, his first paid real estate student.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it.
In 2009. And stayed in real estate, in and out of real estate through the years. And now I am an associate broker here in Alabama, where we do wholesaling, but also I help builders and developers buy land and create performance so that they can start their development projects. So lots of things going on, but Ty and I are now teamed up, and we are, working on this real estate empire for sure.
All right. This one says, since realtors will use their state-approved contract, how do we get them to update with verbiage for assigning?
All right, real quick. They asked who Kelly was.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead. So I was just gonna. No, I'm not gonna say that. I was just gonna try to do a movie reference. We'll say that for later. It made me just think about Color Purple when Harpo said, "Who this, Paul?" The woman that should have been your man, Sugar. Anyway,
it's always the Color Purple.
No. Maybe Samson. So what they say about the verbiage in the contract with an agent?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. What can you do about it? You really, in my opinion, you don't. It's a couple of ways to go about it. Sometimes that verbiage is there that the property is not assignable without the approval of the seller. Blah blah blah. Sometimes it just straight out says it's not assignable or whatever. You could address it. But in that case, if it's there, I would just recommend just double closing it at that point. So just don't make a big issue out of it, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on it, Kelly?
Yeah, so when you say state approved, that's just exactly what it is. Most brokerages also have their own agreements that realtors use. It's really depending on the broker. So it really doesn't matter about the contract. It's what the broker is what contract they're willing to use, because agents will need to get any approval that they're going to make to the contract through their broker. And so it really, that kind of really is an education piece of you educating the broker and the agent about what you're doing, so that they can go and get approval if they're fine with it. If you have not gotten that far yet and you don't have enough rapport built and you want to explain it enough, I would just say to like Ty said, I mean, you can do an addendum, but it still kind of addresses, it doesn't really solve the issue if they don't accept the addendum. But I just kind of do what Ty said and just double close it. And just make sure that your assignment fee is enough to cover, transfer taxes and things of that nature, and document fees, because the title company will hit you with those fees, even if you're only going to hold it for a matter of minutes. So just do the double close. Make sure your fee is, well enough where you can cover it, those extra expenses.
Before we go to the next question, remember the training tonight, the free training. Text the word Flippanar to 205-964-5243. Text the word Flippanar to the number.
All right, this question came in on TikTok. Would you suggest I get my real estate license first, and would that benefit me?
Tyler's back.
No, I'm trying to take my phone here while we're doing this.
It depends on what you're looking to do. I only got my real estate. Like, I was involved in real estate for 10 years before I ever even thought about getting my license. And even then, I didn't think I needed it, but I did in order to get into new construction. And that's the only reason why I have it. But I would say it really depends on what you want to do. If you only want to wholesale properties and then build up enough reserves where you start investing in your own real estate properties, then no, I don't suggest you get your real estate license, because it's going to hold you to a certain, at least in your state, it's going to hold you to a certain code of ethics that, not saying that other wholesalers and investors don't hold themselves to, but but you can have legal ramifications and fines over it. And some of these code of ethics are very, very specific, and things that you may not think is dishonorable could be looked at as dishonorable, even if it was a lack in communication. And so I always tell people, like, unless you really are trying to make real estate your career choice and it's going to be your one full-time attention, then I don't suggest you getting your license. I just suggest you getting a really great agent on your team that understands what you're doing, that can do the deals for you or get you access to MLS for you, if that's all you're getting a license to do.
All right. How did you want to input?
No.
Okay. All right. We got some questions on Instagram. This question said, how do you do a home on MLS if the owner reaches out to you?
So if you do it, okay, so what I'm assuming that you're meaning is they have it listed on MLS, and then maybe you've been doing some marketing and they have responded to one of your marketing, or they just know that you buy houses some kind of way and they've reached out to you, is what I'm taking that question as. And so in that case, you have to basically you would have to make sure that they have, obviously they have a broker that's involved in a deal, and that understand what their agreement with the broker is do they have an agreement basically where it's exclusivity, where they the broker gets a commission whether the broker is the one who basically transacted the close, or do they have an agreement where if my broker sells it and they brought the buyer to me, they get commission, but if I found my own buyer, then they don't get any commission, which is like an open agreement. So it depends on the type of agreement that they have. If it's an exclusive agreement, you really have to, you can either work through the broker and sell it to pay them enough to pay their commission for it, or you would have to wait until their agreement expires. And most agreements usually expire within 6 to 12 months. So you would have to ask, when is that agreement expiring if it is an exclusivity agreement. But you just want to make sure that that piece is taken care of who's getting paid, if the broker is getting paid or not. But other than that, if you have an extensive amount of buyers that are not, that are your cash buyers, that are not scouring the MLS all the time, then I would say, do the deal.
All right. This one came from Justin Oswald on YouTube. He said, "Do you know anything about administrative lot splits?"
What's it called? Administrative what?
Administrative lot splits. Pretty sure that is just another way of saying, as far as a zoning, just to say short, I don't know what an administrative lot splits. I can speculate, but I don't know.
Let's do this. Let's use the old Google.
That's what I was.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Administrative lot splits defined. That's what I need to do there. All right. An administrative lot split, the lot line adjustment process combines multiple lots into one parcel or adjust a common lot line affecting existing parcels. A lot split can be done to split one lot into more than two new parcels. Basically what you said. You're just splitting lots. Either splitting or combining, basically.
Yeah, and usually it's because of like zoning reasons. So I guess we would need more information about specifically what you want to know about administrative lot splits for what you're trying to do with it.
All right, and then K Fair, the property you looked at on the prop stream, he's just following up with you. He said, should he send you his number or will you email him back?
Yeah. Let me see. Your number is not in the email. It's not. Yeah. Yeah. Email me your number also.
This one's from Love the Bull. He said, "What website with Google do you search for find flipper with the map?" I think he's asking you what prop stream is, like what you were using. When
what I was just
him.
using.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you text the word text the word tool, you can access that same tool. And we'll train you on how to use it also if you sign up through digulator.com.
Okay, and this is related. Somebody asked, what's the difference between PropStream, Privy, and Batch Leads?
Okay. All right. So that's number one. I'm Walmart. I sell Coke, Pepsi, Gatorade. We'll do that. Mm-hmm. All right. I think those are all three premium brands. All right. So I'm a reseller all of them. So let's establish that. Okay. So I'll just tell you what we use it for. Now, they do a lot of the same things. All right. Like batch leads, text messaging is a significant part of what we do. So we use it a lot for that, but you can search for properties, build lists. We also use it to skip trace, right? PropStream, a lot of the same things except the text messaging. Really don't use that much for the skip tracing. They don't make it just really that easy, in my opinion, to do it or whatever. So, but everything else, as far as what you just saw on the screen where I was looking at that property, I could tell how big the building itself was, the square footage on it. I could drop the little old Goldie down and look at it. You know, all of that was done through that particular tool. It is very powerful in the sense that it allows you to identify the property boundaries, which is very important. It tells you what other properties that they may own. Sometimes they may have properties owned next door to it, which could make a decision on what the overall value is or opportunity may present itself. It does a lot of different things. Now with Privy, which that's the training we're going to have tonight. It's more, if you got $100 and you want to get in this game, this is the training that you want to join tonight. because what it's going to show you is how to leverage properties, how to virtual wholesale. Going to be one of the owners and founders of the company is going to be doing a demonstration tonight on the different ways on how to use it, determining hot markets. If you just wanted to use it for that, and knowing where you can target your cold calling, your text messaging, your bandit signs, maybe not bandit signs, but direct mail. Also, but the main thing is it's set up to target properties that are listed on MLS dealing with real estate agents. So in that training tonight, we're going to he's going to go through how to earnest money deposit, how to handle that, the proof of funds, and just generally who you should be partnering with for the actual deal itself and for your potential buyers dealing with other real estate agents. So so it's going to be a live flipanar, webinar, whatever you want to call it, but we call it a flipanar. So you can join that tonight, check it out. But hopefully I explained the differences on how we use it. Now, again, they do a lot of the same other things, but I just pointed out the things on what's valuable to us in the day-to-day activity. So.
All right. Let me go back up to the top. All right. This one says, how do you double close? I'm trying to get this, but I don't get the deal you later.
Deal has nothing to do with the double close. You can explain it, Kelly, from there.
How do you double close? I'm trying to get this flip, but I don't get the deal you later. Okay. Double close. So what a double close is when you have let's just say an A to B contract, which is A is your owner, which is the owners of the property who is selling the property. B is you. Okay. B is you are the wholesaler, the middleman. You get this under contract, and then you have another contract, C to D, that is also you, like your company, and your end buyer. What that means is when you take both of those purchase and sell agreements to the title company, they're going to close on A to B first, and then C to D next. Right? So you technically will own the property, even though it's just for a few minutes, you will own the property. And that means you're entitled to all the doc fees, you're entitled to all the transfer taxes, because they have to prepare each folder as if you're buying the property. That is an A to B, C to D close. Most people only do that because there is a large either there is a time period when they can close, like days between it, or if it's on the same day, they're making a large sum of money and they want to basically, they don't want to disclose that at the closing table to either the seller or the end buyer. Because when you do one closing, you have what's called a CD, which is a closing disclosure, or a HUD. And it's going to itemize everything of where all the money is going, all the taxes, all the doc fees, all the attorney fees, like everything will get itemized, in addition to how much the seller is going to receive and how much the buyer is going to receive. And people look at that all the time, and that has stopped a lot of closings for people that care about or count other people's money. But so that is what a double close is. It's basically two purchase agreements. Okay. Assignment, though, is when you only have one purchase agreement and one assignment of contract, meaning you at the AB closing, AB contract, you're going to assign that over to the C, which is the end buyer, by using an assignment of contract, not an actual purchase and sell agreement. I hope I explained that well. Usually I like to write those type of things out and use little pictures, but that is what a double close is. Now, to deal you later is just simply, so on deal you later, it's asking you for, if you're filling out the contract, you're going to have it with the seller, and it's usually an A to B contract. But on there, it asks if you need a buyer or not, and then you don't worry about the double close, because if you're looking for a buyer, you know, especially a dealer to resupply you with the contracts or the assignment of contract that you need.
You don't have any.
Yes. All right. This is on TikTok. Where do I find distressed properties? Ty.
Everywhere.
Somebody.
Everywhere, right? Ty, you define distressed properties anywhere and everywhere. I like the most that I like. I'll tell you, if you're driving for dollars, if y'all been watching the show when I'm on, like y'all know that is my all-time favorite is driving for dollars. I love doing it. It's my favorite pastime. I like going to the nicer neighborhoods and finding the ugliest house on the street. The ones that have weeds grown up, the ones that look like the trash is still at the end of the curb because nobody lives there and nobody's taking it to the back to the house. Like, I like those type of distressed properties, but you can find them anywhere.
Yeah. What was the question? How do you find distressed properties?
Where?
Yeah, where do you find distressed properties? I like to think of it in more of in terms of finding motivated sellers, right? I don't care what the reason is for selling. Now, some of it is because the property is in need of massive repair, but if you do this long enough, you'll drive about enough houses that you know they're never going to fix it. And when you call them, guess what price they're going to give you? They're going to give you what they probably get on their tax card every year. What they don't realize is that the county or the city or whatever don't go out and actually appraise every one of those properties. Don't even try to do that. Now, if you make a fuss of it, they'll go out and reassess it or whatever. And that's what most people need to do because you're overpaying for taxes because they're just doing a sweep of the area, whether it's lived in or not, and they're basically putting the assessed value on the property based on the area in general, and so that's what you're going to pay taxes on, even though that property is not in that condition to do that or whatever. So yeah, you can look for distressed property because that may be an indicator that there may be some motivation there, and that is one method of doing it. But you more want to focus on motivated sellers. And that's just one of the lanes that may dictate that because the property does appear to need a lot of repairs, quote unquote, in distress. So just my 2 cents.
All right. This question is on Instagram. If you have an LLC, can I sign the contract with the LLC name instead of my name?
Well, that's the purpose of the LLC, but you're going to have to sign something. So it's your name. I'm assuming you're a managing member or however you have it set up or whatever. So, but that's how it works. You just sign off on it as one of the, I guess, people that got say so in that LLC. Speaking of LLCs, text the word biz. You want to set one up, text the word biz to the number 205-964-5243. You can not only get that in motion, but also take advantage of more than 250 tax deductions, along with establishing some business credit also. Text biz to the number. Your thoughts on it, Kelly?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say you're gonna have to sign your name. You can put signing on behalf of in your LLC name or signing as a managing member of in the LLC name, but you're gonna have to sign your name. But it goes into your LLC's name or whatever, the contract is technically in the business entity, but they're going to need a person. Like they're going to need, it's just kind of like when you sign your business checks, like you don't sign it. If you have a business account, you don't sign it with your business name, you sign it with your name, because they're going to need an actual representative to sign.
All right, I'm about to add this person to the chat. Let me take this off.
Hello, hey, how's it going?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on, Flip, man?
Oh, good, my man. What's happening? Where are you live streaming from?
California.
What part?
The Bay Area.
Bay Area. That's what's up. Oh, what's happening?
Yeah. I went driving for dollars and ended up in Texas, right? So I was looking for spots all over every state we touched, through Arizona, everywhere. I'm looking for New Mexico. I'm looking for houses, driving for dollars, right? So we ended up going to check a house out, and I look next door and I see a sign that says for sale. So I'm like, oh, instantly I jump out, take a picture, boom, take a picture of the house, and I call the dude, and it's the real house owner. So I talked to him, and he was like, yeah, the house is for sale. He was willing to drop it 3%, and he said, yeah, you don't have to deal with a realtor. We can get it going. So when I called him yesterday, after I tried to do the deal later and all that, I called him yesterday, and I was like, so is the house livable? Whatever. He's like, yeah, it's on Zillow. Whoop, whoop. So I go in there. I try to do the deal later, but I couldn't like really get the numbers right. So I really don't understand how to do it. But I was going to see if you can do it and see if we had a good deal. And I'm ready to go 50-50 with you.
All right. So yeah, we can do that. Let me share my screen here. Let's see here.
I just have to ask, were you already planning to go to Texas?
No, I really wasn't planning to go. We were just driving. We was driving, just going to visit, doing a small vacation. And we ended up in Texas. Yeah, just going around, looking around, driving just to, because my wife hadn't been out of state before. So we had to go on a little trip.
Okay.
Fun.
That's what's up. What's the address?
Look, time.
The address is, I got it right here.
Happily.
Hold on, let me see. It's right here on my screenshot. It's 53 Woodcent, Spring, Texas.
Woodcent?
Yeah, Woodcent. Wood, SCENT, CT, Spring, Texas, 77380.
Wait a minute. Spell that again. Spell it what? How do you spell it?
Wood space SCENT space CT, Spring, Texas, 77380.
Okay.
He had it up there for 22, and then he already dropped it to 14.
Okay. All right. So just take a quick snapshot at this. Okay. I see it's was MLS listed, sold for $210 or so back in 2019. He owns one other property. Let's see if okay. There was a mortgage. It says a purchase money order, but CM and fans. I think that's where they just do it in Texas. 157 was the loan amount. So, and what was he trying to sell it for?
322. That was like 4 days ago, and already dropped to 314.
Okay. All right. So let's dive in here to it. So get a little crash course. At least the way I'm doing it. So we got a lot of activity in here. That's good. The red dot is the target property, and all the other dots are comparable sales. So whenever you determine if you have a deal or not, you have to backdoor it and go from the end. You got to start at the end game and then go backwards to see if you where you need to be as far as your numbers. Okay, so the end game is your after repair value, which is your ARV. So it's basically a do-it-yourself appraisal, DIY, right? Just came over that. So once you get that number, right, and then someone can just do some math on it for us. So let's get that number first. All right. So we'll see if the guys, has an opportunity. I mean, the seller's in La La Land, or he's, has a property can sell. So ideally, we want to stay in the same quote unquote subdivision, or don't cross over any major highways like Sawdust Road up here. Sometimes you'll see the thicker white lines, the thicker yellow lines. So most of this is all in place. So I'm just going to draw a boundary around this red dot right close to it.
Okay.
See what we come up with, because we just got so much activity in here, which you love to see, right? And so just using the boundary tool here, which I'm in PropStream. When you text the word tool, you can access the same thing.
Okay.
And so I'll do my search. Okay, and there are three things we like to look at off the top. We like to look at the year built, the lot square footage, and the square footage of the house itself. The year built, we like to stay in a range of 5 years up or down if possible. Sometimes that's not always the case. Being older is not as big of a deal if it's being a lot newer. The square footage of the lot, we like to stay in a range of 2,500 square feet if all possible, but sometimes that's not possible. I don't think we're going to have an issue here. And then the square footage of the property itself, I think appraisers do 15 to 20% plus or minus. But we can stay within 200 square feet. We're honing in on it anyway. So, all right. So starting with the year built, which is 1983. What I'll do here, we can go up to 1988, ideally. Hopefully we don't lose a lot here as far as the number we have over here to the left on the map. I think everything pretty much remained the same. And so we're good there. So now the next thing I'm going to look at just quite naturally is what has sold in July and August. That's what I'm going to look for. So I only saw one here that is sold in July. That may not still work, but that's the one I'm going to look at starting out. So it's a 1983 bill, 6,400 square feet. Ours is 6,395. And this property is 18. It's a little bigger than ours. It's 1844, but that's cool. All right. And it is sold for, well, I'm sorry, that's a rental. It rented for 220. So that's not what I want to look for. All right. So the next one down is we have another rental, and then we have another rental, strong rental area. Really not a lot of sales comps in here. Let me see. Okay, here's one that sold in February. The lot house about the same. It's a little smaller, and it's sold for $298. So basically, right at $300,000. Now, of course, the market has adjusted. I don't know how much in this particular market, but just for the sake of, we're going to roll with this 300,000 as the number. So it's 1668. So how much is he asking?
He said 314. He drops to 314.
There you go. He's asking for a price. So we're a long way from where it needs to be. Now, the only option, well, you can always make an offer. Did you see the condition of the property, seen the photos or anything?
Yeah. It looks pretty nice. I actually walked around the house and looked in the window. It looks livable. It looks nice. I mean, like you said on your video, it is certain living conditions of certain people,
Yeah. Okay, so the house is livable. We'll say it may not be in 100% retail shape, but that's the way he's trying to sell it. So with that being said, if you're just trying to do a wholesale deal, we can go over here to dealulator.com, which is free to access to anyone. You can get the contract here and both calculators for your repairs and the deal itself. So we can normally start the repair calculator, but I'm not going to really hone in on that because you're saying it's in pretty good condition. But normally what you would do, if it's livable, we multiply the square footage times the $25. But I wouldn't say the house needs $40,000. We'll just say it needs $10,000 in repairs.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going with the number of $300,000 as the ARV. We multiply that times 70% minus the $10,000 in repairs. Generally speaking, you're trying to make 7 to 10% of this number to come up with your fee as the wholesaler, all negotiable, of course. So I'm just going to say 20,000, which that's a little less than that, but I'm just going to say 20,000 instead of 30. So this is how far you're off on this deal as a wholesale deal. Now, again, it doesn't need a lot of repairs, whatever, and you making go up a little more on it. But generally speaking, when investors spend couple $100,000, they're looking for a certain return back. They're not looking to spend $200,000 and make $15,000. Normally, they're looking to make 50, 75, and or so, maybe even 100 in some cases.
Yeah,
who the investor is. Definitely 20% on their money, if nothing else. So you may be able to go up a little bit on this number here, but point being, he's at 314. Even if you had to come up to 240, he may take that, but that probably won't work. Probably 220. Offers are free. You never know what it is. So, and then it could be a situation where he may entertain owner financing. That's when you make an offer on that. So, your thoughts?
That's the only thing I was gonna add is in those situations, this when you start to get into some creative financing. Will he just ask, are you willing to take a little money now and a little bit more and more a little bit later?
Okay, so that's the questions I need to ask him. When I talk to him, just ask him, is he willing to take an offer, or what is his bottom dollar deal?
For cash, and then ask him, if he doesn't accept your cash offer, then say, well, are you okay with taking some of your money now and a little bit later? And
Okay.
that opens up the conversation to what Ty was saying is owner financing.
Okay, that sounds good. So I need to get in contact with him. Yeah, I've been talking to him for the last 2 days. He's been willing to talk to me. He said, "Oh yeah, I got a meeting today. I'll call you back in a few hours." So it looks like it's pretty good. I'm trying to really get this one done. It'll be smooth to do it. But I also want to learn how to do it. Like I seen better how you work that deal later. So now I'm trying to get on that. I'm gonna take it to the next level for sure. But thank you guys very much.
No problem at all, my man.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
To watch.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying to watch that video going through how I go about it using the tool. Just text ARB to the number.
Okay.
To get you going. All right.
All right. Sounds good. Do you have a email I can email you just to get in contact with you, or just text the number?
Yeah, just text the number.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Topic. Okay, so we're going to go with the topic today. Can you wholesale houses at auctions? I don't know if I termed that. That's a good way of saying that. Okay, all right. Thumbnail might not make no sense. But all right. So auctions. So and I'm gonna ask Kelly before I go into my diatribe. What's the normal time frame they want you to settle?
At auctions?
Yeah.
Sometimes day of, or but the max of that I've ever seen is like 10 days, but a lot of times day of or next 2 to 3 business days.
Okay, so all right, so what I thought, that's what I was thinking. They want their money quickly.
They want their money now. Yeah, it's okay.
To even participate in the auction, what do you need to do?
Bring cash.
So yes, bring cash. Now, even some of them don't even accept cashier's checks. Sometimes some of them will accept a cashier's check. But yeah, they're gonna want some type of and it's crazy to me, but they're gonna want some type of payment. Whether they'll give you a link where you can transfer money as well, like wire transfer. And then a lot of times it's just 10% down and then the rest later. But what you would need to bring is first, no emotions. Don't bring that, leave those at home. You get yourself in a situation where you can't get out of. So bring a game plan to first. Go by, ride by. A lot of times you won't be able to walk the property, so you'll want to ride by, do your numbers, get outside. Go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking in turn, you're explaining what's needed if you were going to actually buy a property, but that's what I want you to do. Okay. We're talking about, can you wholesale a property at auction? Because I don't know where people are getting this from. I guess somebody's putting that content out that you can do that, and I'm sure you can, but you have to have the resources to be able to do what you're saying, to even be able to bid on something. So that's what I call an actual lazy buyer. You're going to have somebody say, hey, Ty, here's $100,000. Go to this auction and make this happen for you, and I'll give you 10. Yeah, if you got that, then I got some other stuff we can do. You know what I'm saying? Besides that, if you got somebody willing to do that, I got some other stuff we can do. Because that is so hard to find. So I'm not sure where we get this a lot, and that's why I created a topic around this, is that because of what the minimum requirements that the auction requires you to do, makes it hard to wholesale it without having a buyer that's already ready to go and just don't want to do it or whatever. So, but if you're talking about you're just going to go there and think you're going to tie something up and then say, hey, I got this deal for you. No. The hoops that they're going to make you jump through is not going to allow that. Now, again, I ain't the smartest log on the tree, so I'm ready to learn too. If somebody out there has that figured out now, because of what they're going to make you do to even participate in the auction or whatever. So now, if you buy it, then that's not wholesaling. The whole purpose of wholesaling is being able to do it out your own money or whatever. You buy it, then it's your property, so you're free to do whatever you want to do with it. Even if you turn around and sell it the next day, that's fine. But that ain't what we're talking about. So the point being is, again, I'm not aware of a way of doing it without having an investor already ready to go. They just don't want to participate in it. when you're going to auctions, you're not finding a secret. Remember that. Most of these investors are bombarded by agents on auctions that are about to happen. Well, maybe not the agents, but whoever's running the auction, part of their job is letting potential investors in a particular market know that the auction even exists. That's part of what they do as auctioneers, the marketing side of it or whatever. Not only putting the auction on, but making it available to the public with people that have the resources to take down the properties in that auction or whatever. So again, what am I missing? As far as the wholesale side of what am I missing anything?
No, I mean, to wholesale a property from an auction, I mean, if I could do it, I would have been doing it. Like I said, sometimes you can come up with the money in 10 days, but even to get in that type of deal, you have to have at least 10% earnest money in order to even to go through with to have the bid accepted. But yeah, I mean, I've been to several where there's literally representatives of hedge funds that are there with a pile of like a checkbook, and they're just writing checks on properties because they're having to pay for it at the auction. There's no other way to kind of like buy them where you're at the auction, unless you, again, for that particular property, you don't have to have it until like a few days later. But even then, it's only days later. So, you know.
Boom. All righty. Put Kelly's info up so she can tell them who she is.
Who she is.
Thank you.
Who her is.
All right.
Take it away.
There I am is. I don't know why I keep wanting to put am is. But I do want you guys to do one thing. I want you to go to my Instagram, follow me, and then for all of my real estate agents and brokers, I want you that are looking to get more involved in real estate investing and want to get started, and also just want to be able to provide more listings to your cash buyers that are investors. DM me, I'm ready. What I am doing is, I said I was never going to do it, but I keep getting people like asking me for it. So I'm just going to do it. Why? I mean, if that's what the people want, I'll give it. But I'm going to put together a wholesaling course specifically for how to do it if you're a licensed realtor, on all the disclosures you're going to need to say, all the legal documents you're going to need to say, have. So I'm putting together all of the, a course that includes all of the legalities that you would need to make sure you have if you are wholesaling as a licensed professional, especially in your state. And so that is coming out super soon, and I want to go ahead and get you on the wait list. I keep debating. It's going to be super like dirt, like if not free, just enough to like pay for the systems that I use to support it. Like it's going to be super, super cheap. Like, because I want you guys to just have the information, because so many people have asked me for it that are real estate agents. And I really want realtors and brokers, if you're not already, to begin investing in real estate. So I will show you how it's done on the through wholesaling real estate.
All right.
Boom. Oh yeah. All right, guys. Well, we got today in. So remember tonight, we have the Flipinar, the free training. Text 205-964-5243. You will thank me later on that. So make sure you do that. So if you didn't get your question answered, post it in the comments section of any video. I answer those on a daily basis. Thanks, Kelly, for joining us. And if nothing else, we'll see you on the FLIPSIDE.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243. Yep. 205-964-5243.